Diff taking selfies. I'm Jay Bell. This is BPZ Mag and $2 Bill. We're from the Lazy Susan Band, and this is our final installment of our chat with the Lazy Susan Band about Underneath the Minnesota Moon, which gets released later this month.
Yeah, so we've been talking about a few of the songs that you wrote. You wrote all the songs for this. Co-wrote one of the songs.
That's right. Yeah.
Right yours. I was wondering about. There's a song called "In the Shadow of Valentine's."
Shadow of Valentine's.
Shadow of Valentine's Day. What's that about? Where did that come from?
Well, I needed an up-tempo blues song since Fade failed to be that up-tempo danceable blues song. So the concept behind that was, I was just thinking about how there's people in your life that one day you are the bee's knees and the tops, and then the very next day it all falls apart and you can't figure out what happened, how you were so well liked and well received one day and not so much the other day. And so I was thinking about that as it's as though being with a paramour on Valentine's Day, and then it all falls apart on February 15th. So I wrote this song like that, like trying to figure out what happened between this day and that day. And then the lyrics came about because I heard somebody else talking about Valentine's Day, and I can't remember where I heard this, but they were talking about, I guess Cupid doesn't have any magical powers. And the other person said, yeah, just a regular old flying dwarf. And so that's where the heart-shaped boxes with nothing inside, nothing ever lasts, that flying dwarf lied.
Oh yeah.
So that's
Nice.
and that was really cool because I knew right away, instantly when we wrote that song, I knew I wanted it to focus on the Lazy Ass Brass and be very horn heavy, and it features a piano solo from $2 Bill and a trombone solo from BPZ Meg. And we got to bring in John Birch to play Barry and tenor sax, which is, I could listen to Barry sax all day long. Ever since the first time I heard the Mingus Big Band, I could listen to Barry sax all the time. Yeah. So I mean, what do you guys think about that? That was one of this album features the brass more than any album we've ever done before, and I mean, there's 3 songs at least that have brass featured, and I mean, what was that like? I mean, I sort of gave you a song structure and a general idea, and then asked you guys to kind of put those parts together. How did that work?
It worked in a very loose fashion. We made it up on the spot in rehearsal, and we refined it, and then we forgot it. And we came back to another rehearsal, we made a new version.
Is that the key, just forgetting it once? Is that how you just make sure?
Yeah, because it always turns out better the final time.
Exactly. Yeah, you forget it until you perfect it, and then it's perfect. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, well, it sounds great. I love the horns in that song, and I dig that tune.
Having the Barry in there really fills out that low part, because I'm kind of in the mid and you're up high, and then that Barry just that's really
he played tenor and Barry in that song. And what's so cool is the Barry, like in some of the other stuff, just has like a 1-note part underneath everything, but it's so
I know. It just has that gritty sound.
Really great. Yeah, that song turned out fantastic. I hope we can really start adding that into things. That was when we rehearse, and in the studio we always have to do that at a certain time because Kent insists on playing a specific part that's as fast as he can play that part is how fast we do that. So when we were tracking the drums, he made sure that we did that right before lunch, and that was his treat was lunch afterwards. Apparently that's as fast as he can play that part. I did. I just waved a hamburger in front of him, and I was like,
studio trickery.
That's
People don't know about that stuff.
Yeah, writing that song was great. It was I wanted a song like that on the album, and we got that.
That's really cool.
Well, I was just gonna ask, like, how do you decide to even? We've talked about some individual songs, but how do you even decide to record an album? Do you just write songs constantly all the time, and then when it reaches a critical mass, you say, this could be an album, or how do you write a song anyway? Like, do you write out the lyrics, like Shadow of Valentine's Day? Did you had the idea for it? Then did you? How did you write?
For me, usually the stuff that I write that I like the best happens really organically and right all at the same time. And so if I have an idea for a song, I have some sort of melodic phrase, and then it all just sort of comes out in just one fell swoop. There are songs that take a lot longer, so same songs on this album took about a year. I had the chorus and the first verse, and I just did not know what to do with it. And I tried for a really long time, and then after about a year, that the second verse and the bridge just sort of came and was finished. And so that was tough. And then the last song on the album is something that I wrote in 2 pieces. But most of the things that I write, it just sort of happens, and it's an idea that I get one melodic idea, and if it's good, I finish it. And I have just tons of bad ideas. So like,
Are
how do I decide that?
Are they all on your cell phone?
Some of them are on my cell phone. Some of them have really bad demos in the studio. Some of them are just in notebooks. I mean, if I get stuck on an idea, even if it's a bad idea, I'm just stuck on it until I finish it. And so sometimes I have to write a shitty song to put that shitty idea in, and then I just put that to bed. Because that bad idea won't end up bleeding into another song, because that bad idea belongs to this bad song. And that's it. That's done. So yeah, I write a lot of bad stuff, and then when I write something that I think is okay, I'll do a demo and usually share it with one of you guys, and then if I get any sort of reaction that's positive, I usually try to flesh the rest of the thing out and bring it to the band.
Share it with us and say, "Can you make this better?"
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
So then, when does it become an album? Like, when do you decide, or do you decide I want to start writing an album, and then you start writing?
I usually, if I have 4 or 5 songs that I think are good, and the band seems to like, and they're all tied together by something, by a thematic subject matter or a spot in time that they all happened. And as soon as I have a core group of songs, I can assemble songs around that to sort of finish the album off. But yeah, there's something that ties them all together.
If you could describe this album in 5 words or less, or I don't know.
Underneath,
That's right.
Damn it!
If you could describe this album as a pizza topping.
I think I would describe this album as it's an album about perseverance. I think
Okay.
it's about moving on. It's about acknowledging something and then moving on.
Okay.
So every one of the songs has, in every one of the songs, the protagonist is dealing with something and is about to move on or has moved on. So, yeah, that's what ties these songs together.
Had I known that while recording, I would have put even more effort into it.
even more emotion.
Yeah. Man, damn it, Jimbo. Huh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I think this is. I'm really proud of this album.
Yeah.
And you should be. I mean,
you should be as well. Like, we all should be really. Everybody played really well, and it sounds really great. And I wanted to mention the album Closer, because that was a song that it's called "Don't Take a Breath," and that song took a little bit longer. I wrote the first part of that song the day that David Bowie died, and I wrote the second half of that song the day that Prince died. And so the idea was, those were artists that impacted me and everyone else, it seems. And the song is just about having, if you have something to say and you have a certain amount of talent, you can't second guess yourself. Just you have to put something out there that might not be understood. And Prince put a whole bunch of stuff out there that was understood. And I'm still trying to understand most of David Bowie's catalog, but there were unique voices that you just had to do it. And so if you have the ability to do that, you shouldn't pause. You should put yourself out there, and the universe will figure it out later.
Well, it's almost like, because they're these quintessential artists, they have to do it. It's in their blood. I mean, and you, I get the vibe from you that you have to write songs. You're a songwriter. You can't not do that. So
Yeah, that's such a true statement. I don't feel like this is something that I want to do or choose to do. I really feel like I have to. I mean, we've talked before about I went through a brutal period of writer's block for like almost 7 years, and I did not feel like myself during those 7 years, and I just couldn't. I don't know what was wrong, and nothing was coming. And you and I used to try to force songs, and man, did we write some bad songs. I mean, even for my pile of bad songs, they were bad. There's a song in $80 Whiskey called "Chasing All My Lines" about Z and I just decided to spend a whole night forcing a song, and it did not work.
Is that what that song is about?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh
I love
man.
that
All these
song.
secrets.
We drank a whole bunch of wine, and we had something. We're like, yeah, this is something. And we woke up the next day, and we listened to it back, and it was just god awful.
Yeah.
Just like the worst thing I've ever heard.
Those are some weird moments, my friend.
Those were. But yeah, so I having gone through that period of writer's block, I try to take advantage of every little bit of inspiration that I have now, and I'm very fortunate to be able to have a studio at my home and a band that I trust to share ideas with, and so I'm really, really lucky to be able to put that stuff out, and I'm really lucky to be able to put this album out, and I'm excited to share it with people, and yeah.
We're very excited to share the album release party October 21st. That's a Friday night, Whiskey Junction, right?
Yeah, with our good friends Upscale Swill also releasing
Yeah.
a CD that night. So we got 2 CDs being released, and I mean, what if you're thirsty there? I mean, what if you need something to quench your thirst?
We've got you covered.
Yeah.
There are every kind of Mexican moonshine, the world's premier tequila.
There's
it'll be
Silver,
at the Whiskey Junction CD release party.
at the Whiskey Junction CD release party.
Reposado,
Posado,
Añejo.
Añejo, and that's-
Añejo. You can't shot it back. You gotta like that's a sipping
You gotta
tequila.
savor that tequila.
It's-
Yeah.
So good.
But they also have a killer margarita
Oh yeah,
recipe.
with agave nectar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, so it's going to be great. So please join us on October 21st at Whiskey Junction with our friends Upscale Swill and the whole Mexican Moonshine family and the Lazy Susan Band. And we hope you pick up the new album Underneath the Minnesota Moon. The physical copies will be out on the 21st of October, and I heard a rumor that maybe it'll be on iTunes a little bit before that. You heard it here first, folks. And any day now you'll be able to see the music video for Dangerous, directed by Jason Narvood of Cute Fox Studios. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
thanks very much. $2 bill, BPC Meg. Salud.
Cheers. Salute.